take over. I just wanted to do the introduction and say we are so happy. Last week it was a wonderful podcast when we welcomed a wonderful leader, Nakita. And today it is an honor for us to welcome Djamel. And Djamel is really a well-known leader in the United States, in Europe, in France, in Africa, and has a strong leadership record, especially making impact on youth, from francophony to communications to leadership to so many other things. And he'll introduce himself to the youth. I will ask him some great questions, and we hope that you can join the conversation. We want to welcome the parents, our partners who are supporting our youth. The Everett Haitian Community Center Emerging Bright Stars Academy You Lead Project. Impactful youth leadership to curb problem gambling among youth and young adults. So welcome, and I will pass it on to our youth leaders, and we'll start with the beautiful, the wonderful, the smart Ballet.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Valeria Valencia. I'm part of the Youth Lead program here at the HCC. We recently started the Impactful Leadership program in January. Thank you so much for being here today, Marcelo. Thank you for taking time out of your day to be here and talk to us. The first question I'd like to ask you is, could you tell me a little bit about your role and why it's so impactful?
So Djamel, I don't know if you can hear us. Valet is asking, first of all, tell us about yourself, what you do, the fun things that you do, your leadership, your career, and roles of leadership that you've played or inspiring young leaders. I think we're going to have to use mine.
Can you connect the PC with the radio?
One second.
Djamel, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Yeah,
Yes.
you can speak.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you can go ahead.
Okay. So I was saying many thanks to you, Mirland, and to the community for having me today. It's a pleasure to be again connected directly to the center and to the community. So yes, my name is Djamel and Bekkai, and I worked with Mirland specifically a few years ago, and we keep trying to collaborate together. So my background, I was born in North Africa, in Algeria, and I lived some of my youth time in France, and then to the US. So I lived in New Orleans first, in Louisiana, then Boston. As a professionally speaking, I was a teacher, an instructor for French and Arabic. That was my main career, I would say, professional career. But I worked closely with organizations for probably 30 years. In the US, in Algeria, and in France. One of the projects actually I really loved and I still love is the working with youth in your center, and actually making a connection between Boston University and the Everett Community Center. But I also pivoted a few years ago, and then he went back to North Africa, and then he worked in the what we call the East North Africa region, MENA, with a U.S. organization to introduce leadership, also democracy, and rule of law. So that's, in a nutshell, what I have been doing and what I do today.
Wonderful. Well, thank you and welcome again, Djamel.
Thank you. I actually have another question for you. As you develop as a leader, what is one thing you will never forget and a skill you use
So, maybe so the skill. I mean, there are many skills. As a leader or as someone who wants things to change for the best, for the better. Perseverance, I think, is something that we don't tire of, and it serves us a lot. So I think practicing and doing it again until it happens. That's something that I learned, and I keep doing. And obviously, you will face challenges and lots of problems in your journey, but the belief that you will succeed because your mission is just and good for the community or for depending on the project you are working on, that's something precious. So perseverance, I would say.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Hi Djamel, my name is Janayel and I'm a part of the youth leader at EHCC. And my first question is, what do you think makes a leader a good leader?
Hi, thank you for the question. Well, I think so if you look up the definition of leader, or a good leader, you will have lots of characteristics, lots of traits like creativity, self-awareness, critical thinking, etc., etc. There are a bunch of these qualities that make a leader a good leader. But I think one of the qualities that I haven't seen in the definition when I looked up for the word is humility, and accepting. So within that notion of humility is accepting and listening to others when it comes to revising or making things better. I think humility is a big thing for me, but a good leader is always listening to the group. A good leader knows that without the team that she or he is leading, he's nothing, basically. And the team also can't go nowhere or can't go to the point, to the objective or to the goal without a leader. So that belief reinforces or strengthens the leaders or the leader. There are so many. Communication, communicating in a clear way, being very specific for the goal that you assign to yourself or to the group or to the mission that you have to accomplish. That's also something that will differentiate you from what we would call maybe an average leader. What are others? For you, what is a good leader for you all, and specifically for you, but for others as well?
I think that for a good leader, you need to know what you're doing and also know how to appreciate people because it's not only communicating and humility, there's a lot of qualities you need. And I think it's that.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, and for every one of you, I think that's a great question, Djamel. So so guys, yeah, what as you ask them, so in your own thinking, what do you think makes a good leader?
I feel like being a good leader means having confidence in what you say because I think that makes people respect you more. And even if you don't know 100% what you're talking about, if you have confidence and like, you're trying to get your point across, I feel like people respect that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like as a leader, you have to be able to inspire people to join you, and it's like you have to have a cause.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. And who's next? Good question.
Hi, Djamel. I'm Felipe. I'm one of the youth leaders at the ULEAD program here at the EHCC. And the first question is, what are the best ways that leaders can support other leaders?
Thank you. So we do. I just mentioned the fact that leaders cannot work or succeed or can't go far without the team. That interdependency is also true when it comes to working with other leaders, because we can't know everything, and we can't be equipped with every single tool that exists in the universe. So for that reason, we have to build coalitions. We have to seek help, advise. We have to, yes, build coalitions with other leaders and with other groups that have probably an experience that we lack, an expertise that we don't have in our as a leader or as a team. It can be on. I mean, one of the examples that we have, or you can think about, is on a very high level or scale, international level. So NATO, for example, everybody is familiar with NATO. So NATO is a coalition of countries that build a much stronger defense system and a defense entity. Because even though we do have the US taking that as a leader, there are also other countries like the UK, like Germany, like France, etc., who are within that coalition, and that makes the group even stronger.
Hi, Djamel. My name is Danielle Alphonse, and I'm a youth lead ambassador for the New Reset Project.
Louder.
New lead at EHCC. My question is, as a leader, one must speak in public. How do you overcome the fear of public speaking?
So Djamel, I don't know if you heard Ranuela, because she's very shy and beautiful voice of a little shy. If it was a little too low. So now, as a leader, and we know you've done a lot of public speaking, right? So the question Ranuela is asking is trying to understand is what was that, Ranuela?
As a leader, one must speak in public, and how do you overcome the fear of public?
Yeah. So some people have fear speaking in public. How do you overcome that?
What's her name? What's the
Ranuela. Elle s'appelle Ranuela.
Okay. Well, that is a great question, and I'm sure that you are a successful leader by asking that question already.
Yes. Ranuela is a great writer, great communicator, although her voice is so soft and sweet.
So I think so. I can tell you lots of anecdotes about myself, but in 25 years of teaching as a professor at BU and on other institutions in the US and elsewhere, every time, and just like what happened today with you. So every time I'm going to have a presentation or lead a class, my heart goes like crazy.
Beep, 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 beep.
But that does not prevent me from speaking and talking. So there are obviously techniques that help a lot, making you feel better. It's because fear is, or being shy is happens in your mind. So it's it's a a mindset, sorry, that we can reconstruct, that we can rethink. That fear is probably, instead of focusing on that fear, I'm looking at you and I'm looking at all of you. Eye contact is very important. The also that eye contact will shift the fear into a connection. So I'm connected with you, and I do. So there is a trust that builds up. You are listening to me, and I thank you for that. And then I'm listening to you. You breathe, you enunciate. But those things, so enunciation, pronunciation, speaking clearly, these things are come and improve through exercising. So you can work on these things. You can work on your own by recording yourself, by looking at yourself on the mirror, speaking, recording just a video of yourself speaking on something. But also it helps in a public speaking situation. It helps a lot to be prepared, obviously. You have to know what you're talking about. You have to anticipate. But you're doing just great. You're doing just great.
Yes, thank you. That's awesome. Yeah. And so I would like for the people who are behind, not necessarily for you and Javier because you're tall, but the other youth who are behind, if you could stand up and ask your question. Oh, you're next, right?
No, it's good.
He's good? Oh, you're good. You're good. Okay, so ask your question.
Hello, Djamel. My name is Professor Alphonse, and I'm a youth leader in EHGC's recently launched project You Lead. My question for you is, what do you look for in a leadership role?
Thank you for the question. So this takes us to the question of what is a good leader, right? I think anticipation. So okay, I'm gonna actually try to tell you about my own experience in leading a project in one of the programs I worked for a few years ago. So in order to have a successful project or task, so you first surround yourself with people that you trust. So trust is an extremely important quality or trait. You have to trust the team, and the team has to trust you. That trust comes after showing good faith, good intention, showing also integrity, honesty, supporting each other, supporting the group, and the group supports you. What else? Humility, as I mentioned it a few minutes ago. You have to keep actively being active in listening. You have to always listen to the group, because you, again, just like the coalition we talked about, leaders helping other leaders, as a leader, you can't be a perfect person, and there is no perfect person, as you know. So we do need others to put in their or to express their ideas, to probably correct, revise, and tell me as a leader to maybe do something different. So that's a few things, or maybe points that I would look for a leader.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And our next youth?
Hi, Jeremiah. My name is Welsh. So my question for you is, how do you know what is right for you?
Did you hear the question, Djamel?
No, can you repeat it, please?
Speak a
I'm
little
sorry.
louder, Alisa.
Hi, Jeremiah. My name is Welsh with Alisa. So my question for you is, as a leader, how do you know what is right for you?
What is what?
Right.
Right for you.
What's right? Okay, so essentially, as a leader, you need to make decisions a lot on what's right, what's wrong, what's ethical, what's unethical, and of course, in every aspect, right? In business, in your profession, as a person of faith, because right here we have youth from different faith, right? Communities, secular and faith, and so. And sometimes as a leader, you might make a decision that in your eyes or in your thoughts and a conscience, it's right, right? And but for others, it may be wrong. How do you make that decision if that hasn't ever happened to you? I think that's what the question, the essence of the question is.
Yes, thank you. So a few years ago, I was as a project manager. I was looking for a trainer in one of the countries I was working in, and I reached out to this trainer, and I described the project, and then I said, "This is what you are expected to do." Then we started talking about compensation. So his salary, his the money that the organization will give him in exchange of the training that he will conduct. That person tried to bribe me. So he told me that.
Hold on. Do you guys know what a bribe is?
Yes.
Yes. And all of you who doesn't know what a bribe is? You all know what a bribe is? Oh my God! You see? We have wonderful, very smart youth, and just a sample of so many of them. We have an army, creating an army of 100 strong youth, and those are the core leaders here. And awesome, they know what a bribe is, so that's fine. From the Bible to the secular world. So let's keep on going. Yes, Djamel.
Yes, that goes back to what your leader, Dr. Diozir, was saying, the ethics. So that person tried to mirror something, and then he said that if I accept his terms, he will give me part of what he will get, and I smiled at him, and then I said that I'm shocked that even if it's a joke, that is unacceptable. So that is not right to me, because it's based on principles that I believe in, and it didn't sound right, and it is not right. So what is right for me is, it can be a principle that I have been raised in, but it can be also something practical, logistical. So if a project is beyond my capabilities, I would defer it to someone else, or I will wait until I'm bigger, my organization is bigger, to take on that project. You, as a leader, do some calculus. You do have a mission, but you do also have a budget. You do have, it can be $100, but it can be $1 billion or $1 trillion. So it is a rational decision that you make, whether it's suiting your principles or your mission or your goals and objectives. That's how I weigh a request or a project.
Yes, that's wonderful. Let's ponder upon this a little bit more because this is so interesting. Thank you for that question. This is really great. Because, for example, this, especially now, we see this a lot in our youth and young adults, also in adults. But since our audience or our target is really for, especially for this podcast, are of course parents of the youth we serve, but also for youth and young adults. Especially now, there's a lot of pushing on social media, which is good for assertiveness for young people and young adults, young professionals, right? To be assertive, to go for it, right? Go for the opportunities. And at times, what we realize is, and adults do that as well in some communities. And as you see, we have youth of different communities, different backgrounds, different races. I mean, and different, ethnic backgrounds. Where do we make the difference between being assertive in going for opportunities and do what's good for you, for yourselves, right? That we learn a lot. Now we hear a lot on social media. And understanding, the ethical values that we should practice as young people, right? As adults, so that we don't hurt others. And so that we do so much to advance ourselves, advance our goals, our objectives, and our dreams, right? But do it in such a way where, for example, not taking bribes. And this program is about impactful leadership for youth in general, but also for youth to not looking at money as and gambling as an investment. And so not to gamble their monies, not to take bribes. How do we make that difference? Where they can still go for their dreams, they can still thrive to be economically, financially powerful, right? Intellectually powerful, to push their dreams, yet at the same time to balance between that and ethical values.
I think, Miron, you said it very well. I mean, eloquently, with eloquence. Sorry, when you started talking about this specific question, I think the decision making most of the time should be as a leader should be. We always should make the decisions based on multiple things, based on principles, ethics that we mentioned, but also based on pragmatic things or pragmatic parameters that we learned, or sometimes it's a no-brainer. It could be just like, if I have this analogy, just like a marathon where you're asked to cheat to, instead of doing the it's a 42 kilometers, I don't remember in miles, so you, instead of doing the 42 kilometers, someone asks you to take shortcuts, or also someone asks you to do the marathon, whereas you can't even run a 10-kilometer distance. These are, so whether cheating in this race, the marathon, or based on your capabilities and why you are doing it, so you accept or you say no to that request. I think it does. It's a well-informed decision that you will make that is based on your education or the ethics that you are armed with, but also your own goal, mission, capabilities. That's how I see it.
Amazing. Well, thank you. That was great. All right, who's next? Who would like to ask a question next? Who's next? Yeah, loud.
Hi, Djamel. My name is Kathleen Jen Simon. My question for you is, how did you build self-confidence?
So, did you hear? How do you build? You're so confident. You're speaking so confidently, and I've known you for many years. And you're a very confident, but yet a very humble person. You're a person of faith. You're a person of values. You're a person of great character. Putting aside all of your professionalism and great skills in your career. So, how do you? Yeah.
So the question is how do I
How did you
Build self-confidence.
self-confident? Thank you, Miron, for all the kind words. Thank you so much, and thank you for the question. I think that yes, it is a great question. I think the self-confidence, even I was telling you that I get I have that fear when I'm presenting or teaching or doing anything in public. But the self-confidence also we work on it mentally, but also exercising. And when you know that you are doing something right, I'm sharing my experience and what I am hoping that will help you in your journey. So that idea and that goal is in itself great, I hope, for all of us, for you and I. And that also gives me that self-confidence that I believe in you, and I trust you, and you believe in me, and you trust me. So that's why I have that self-confidence, and I do believe in what I'm doing. I think that's the foundation of the self-confidence. Then after that, just like being shy, or you can work on it. That's something that there are lots of techniques that you can go through, and you become better and even better at having that self-confidence too.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And who is next?
Me.
Xavier, yes.
Hello, my name is Javier. One of the questions I want to ask is, what are the best skills to develop a good leader?
Ooh. So give us at least three skills, top-notch skills, so that Xavier can be an impactful, great, good leader. And we want to define good, right? Good, because somebody can be a leader, but they're not a good leader, right? Good in the sense of doing what's right, doing what's good that benefits others, not just oneself.
That is extremely important.
Yes, aside from empathy.
That's right. So, well, I was as probably one of the most important.
Right.
So yes, you can be a leader, and probably a successful leader. I mean, we have lots of examples in history and then even today. But it doesn't mean that they are good leaders. Right?
Yes.
Because it's turned into it goes to them. It's a selfish action, and it doesn't necessarily benefit us or the community as a whole. But I would say yes, empathy. So I'm sorry, you want to.
Yes, go ahead. Yes. So aside from empathy, so give us at least two.
Empathy.
Yeah. Other.
So go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. So give us, if you could share at least two other skills or other quality or characteristics, right? That makes somebody good. You know, has goodness in the sense of the real sense of the word.
It is hard to come up just with three, but I would say creativity is.
Creativity, yes.
Yeah, it's very important. And with that creativity, it means also that we adapt. We adapt to new situations. The COVID pandemic, for example, came, and then we used internet use on other platforms to communicate, to teach, to work, to collaborate. So creativity is an extremely important item, but also I would probably say trust.
Oh wow, that's a big one. Yeah.
Yeah, trust is really important. Yeah. So yeah, empathy. So connecting with others emotionally and then putting yourself in other people's shoes. Creativity, ability, and the last one is yes, trust. Because without trust, you won't go far. I mean, you can succeed again. You can be a successful leader, but it will stop. You might hurt one of the team members. You might hurt the whole community on the long run. So that's not, to me, it's not great.
This is amazing, and we can go on and on. And just to share also with you, I remember when I was in law school, a friend of mine who was also, a colleague, but yet also was somewhat my boss when I was doing an internship at a law firm, always taught me these three. He called it the 3 T's for a good leader, to become a good leader. And that time I was learning, I mean, as you know, when I graduated from law school, what it would be to be a great, leader, in the law field. And he said the 3 T's: trust through times. So it's not just trust once at once, one time. It's throughout your lifetime, right? As you, from your youth to adulthood to becoming a senior citizen, until forever, that through times that people can say that you are trustful. And then when I started to become even more spiritual and I went to theology school, right? Then I added on F after that. Fear of God.
Well, just your faith.
No, your faith. Fear of God, the same. Fear of God and faith. So thank you so much. That is really, really great. We're not done yet. We're going to be almost done with you. And is that you? Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so my second question is...
Louder.
Is there such thing as a best leader? If so, how can you prepare to become better or just the best leader possible?
Can you say the
Is this one?
Use this one. A little louder.
Is there such thing as a best leader? If so, how can you prepare to become better or become one of the best leaders?
Right. Thank you for the question. Well, I think we can repeat what we just said about trust and then empathy and then creativity and adaptability. But I think to me, and that can apply also to anything in life, learning, a constant process. So we learn to become actually creative, to become also, to have that adaptability and empathy, even empathy. We go through a process of learning, so we don't stop learning. And when you learn, you do also learn how to revise, amend, correct your actions or your projects or your goals. That's I would say it's almost like a magical thing. So it's extremely important.
Awesome.
That's how you become best or better and then best, probably. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's gonna be the last. They have a lot of questions for you, but it's 11:45, and we know that you have another commitment. So, guys, I'm sorry that all of us will not going to have the opportunity to ask all the other questions. So we'll save it. I think our next guest will have to answer some of those questions. So we have to respect Djamel's time, because we know that you have another commitment. So I will let the last question.
Okay.
And so guys, sorry, you'll ask you'll add those questions next week, in our next podcast. So let's ask you a last questions and then we will conclude.
Okay, I know that public speaking plays a big role in leadership. So my question is, can you share some tips on public speaking?
Yes, thank you for the question. Yes, I would say that you have to prepare first, to be prepared. So know what in a public speaking situation you are going to talk or exchange on something specific. So prepare that topic. Write about it. See different opinions about it. Anticipate questions. Questions you might have questions that are probably not necessarily within that topic. So just think about, assess. That's what, as a leader, when you have a project, to assess risks. I mean, it's not probably a big risk, but it is something that might happen. So maybe go outside of that box, that topic or subject, and then anticipate some other questions. As I said before, record yourself, speak clearly, go to the point. If you sometimes I'm doing it now, and we all do it. Sometimes we forget words, or we don't find the right word. We circumvent. So the most important point most of the time is the message that we are trying to convey. So circumvent that word and then just pass on the message. And breathe, make eye contact, as I said, and practice more and more and more. That's how it goes.
Wonderful.
Thank
And
you.
on that, let's give an applaud to our guests for an insightful, amazing conversation. Let's give an applaud to you, young people. And let's give an applaud to our young adults who are not part, live of this podcast, but who are working hard behind the scenes to put us on Apple TV, Spotify, all types of platforms. And we want to thank Guy. We want to thank Christopher. And last but not least, the tech guru, Dave. And we want to thank the parents, right? Your parents, guys. They're amazing for giving you allowing you to participate in this wonderful, important project. We also want to thank our partners, Department of Public Health, BCNC, and all other partners working with us to bring this leadership project. We want to thank the Lynn Hispanic Scholarship Funds, and so many people. So this is in partnership. We want to thank also all the other youth who are not part of the core groups, but who are part of this army of young people, both in the faith communities and also in secular communities. As you can see, Djamel, we have youth who were born in Haiti. We have youth who were born here in the United States. We have youth of background of Latino backgrounds and so forth. However, Djamel, you should know, we are all part of the great Francophonie. And this is also the month. So this is also the month of Francophonie. Djamel, I want you to join us, and I'm going to ask the youth to say it. And guys, I'm going to say it, and then you're going to say it. We're going to say it together. We're going to say, Vive, Vive, la Francophonie. Vive, la Francophonie. So Djamel, let's go together after 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Vive la Francophonie. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. I see new great leaders, and by the enthusiasm and the smart questions that you asked. But I would say also that you are in good hands too. You are in good hands. So thank you for having me today, and it's been a pleasure sharing with you and talking with you today.
And we want to thank you for all that you do. You're a very, very busy man, and we truly value that you take time from your busy schedule to be with our youth leaders. And you've mentioned something, and it's not really, and I'm not just saying it, I'm blown away by these youth. Their intellect is beyond what one would ever think. As a matter of fact, and I want to make it clear for everyone, truly, all the questions that have been asked, and some they are not able to ask right now because of time, they develop those questions by themselves. So all the questions. So I'm so proud. I'm proud of their parents. The parents get the credit first. Not get the credit. And of course we have a little role, just a small role to play in that. So thank you guys. And to everyone, thank you for joining us. And please join us. You won't want to miss next week. Next week will be a huge event. We will still be live. At the same time, it is a huge event that we're doing for families and youth, especially those going to college or those who are preparing to go to college and graduate school, whether it's they're going to college for the first time or for whatever career that they choose, or graduate school, law school, medical school, whatever that it is. We are partnering with our, the Lean Hispanic Scholarships Funds to bring a workshop for parents and youth on how to access funds for higher education. And it's real fun, right? That you can get access to, and College 101. So we hope that you can join us both for the podcast and for that workshop, which will also be live. Thank you for all that you do. And youth, what are we going to say to our peers in terms of problem gambling? What are we gonna say? It's give one advice.
Advice. Just make sure to always find resources and look for those around you who may be struggling as well, and bring them to other resources where they won't be tempted to do that.
Exactly. And where can they find some resources?
Here at the EHCC.
Here at the EHCC from our youth. On that note, until we meet again, God bless you. Stay safe. We love you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.